and I didn't
No.
hit the options. All right, now we are recording. All right,
Okay,
I'm still
yeah.
getting the hang of this. Anyway, welcome to episode number 5. This is High Vibe TV. Today I have a very special guest. Her name is Kate Lumley. She's a dynamic woman living in alignment with her innate gifts and abilities with the intent to emancipate her own and humanity's brilliance. Her spiritual journey consciously began in 2005, and she has been remembering the more that we each are and celebrating that truth in many ways. Kate is a mother to 20-year-old triplets, an artist, a corporate businesswoman, international speaker, cosmic connector, and previous TV host on both Awake TV and Soulogy networks. Kate is also the creator of the Love Ewes, EWES, and Utopia, also spelled EWETopia. Her greatest love is igniting, honoring, and celebrating the brilliance within each being. She understands that as each human finds their courage to be their innate gifts and abilities, we have more pieces of the puzzle to put together for humanity to reach our fullest potential. Wow, way cool resume, which is exactly why Kate and I hit it off immediately at recently at our friend Brad Olson's birthday bash. And she's one of those people that you're like instant friends, and then it's like you've always been friends, you just haven't met each other yet.
I felt the same way about you. It's so great. And I resonate with that. Meeting people all over the planet is the plan. That's why I call it the PLAN-IT. When we show up in our true nature and we follow our heart to be where we feel called, great things happen, as we did here. And I am thrilled to be on episode 5, a number that I love. It's a number that I see as shift and change. I feel like we are in a massive evolution and shifting into the great alignment. So it's perfect that you and I met just a short month ago, right? And yet it feels as though we've known one another much longer. And I believe that we have. My funny brain and heart is remembering a lot more of the more, as you referenced there in that introduction. There's so much to who we are, Mike. And this self discovery journey and getting to know thyself and trust thyself is really the quest to be or not to be all the love that I am. I love to play with Shakespeare, our playwright that taught us to be or not to be all the love that I am. That is the quest I'm on. And I think we each are. Fear and love are the only two vibrations that exist. And we won't be in alignment with them both at the same moment. So finding ways to train ourselves to think in alignment with the love that we are is really what I'm committed to in my life. And as you just shared, I do it in a variety of different ways. I do it in my corporate jobs. I do it in being a mother. I do it as an artist, using my art to storytell about the power of intention. Behind me, over my shoulder, is the land of intent. But we can often stream in the river woulda, coulda, shoulda, which is just below there in the land of intent over my shoulder, and tell ourselves stories. What stories are we telling ourselves? That's what I get curious about. How do we each find the courage that we are and get to know our true nature? It's a journey. That's the journey that I'm on. And it is so exciting to be at this stage of my path. I keep this close at hand always. This is my map, my awareness and alignment path while living life.
Visual to keep you.
And, it's fun. I kind of am a visual person, right? I mean, as an artist, I
I
create the
see.
thing, all the things that I think. This was a thought that became a thing. What are we all thinking about? Because we are brinking that about making a new reality. And I did use the word brink because we're at the brink of reality. And the way we write history is with the ink in what we're bringing forward. Brink, INK, inside of that word. And what you think, INK, is writing the history and our story. And which stories are we telling ourselves? Could we stream forever in the river woulda, coulda, shoulda? You bet. But I'd rather get back in my boat and get back to the land of intent when I get off kilter and I get a little off path. Because really, life is but a dream that I would rather merrily, merrily, merrily row in. And I have a lot of props, of course, because I'm an artist. And that's part of the joy of living for me is to create the things that I'm thinking about. I even said that right. The things that I'm thinking about. Yeah, because that's what I'm doing. I've retrained my brain to know that whatever I think can be. And I'm really committed to creating a life I love living. And there's an art form to that. It's retraining the brain. What do you do, Mike, when you find yourself in a moment of doubt or fear or self awfulizing? You know, because we can do that. We can get into awfulizing and catastrophizing. How do you shift gears for yourself?
How do I shift gears? Well, I just don't dwell on it anymore. I guess I, without the cool props, kind of do what you do. Just kind of like, okay, you can either dwell on this, feel sorry for yourself, have a little pity party, or you can actually start taking the actions that are going to turn this around so that you can get yourself out of it. It's like being in a boat that's sinking. Are you going to just sit there and go down with the boat? Or are you going to like either start bailing out water, sealing up the hole, or if it's too far gone, jump ship and get on your raft and row to shore? It's like,
Absolutely. And there's a couple things there, right there, that you just said that require some pre-planning. You know, First and foremost, many times people don't even realize awfulizing and catastrophizing is happening. That comes through a journey of self-awareness.
that is so true. You have to be able to recognize that you're in a situation to be able to correct it. And that is a lot of the problem in the world these days is a lot of people are in situations that they've been lulled into and they don't see where they're at on the map. They don't have that visual map. So they're like thinking they're here, but they're really way lost over here.
So
And
having an intention helps us do that, right? Intention,
intention,
intent helps you identify and navigate where you're going and where you are. And are they in alignment? And the other piece that you just said there too, you know, where I was expressing and we're coming into an alignment over the awareness of the emotion that is being experienced. We are energetic beings. Everything is energy, everything is frequency. And in this quantum world and in this world that's becoming even more rapid attraction, we are manifesting very quickly. So, what you're thinking about matters. When we are in a state of emotion, energy in motion in our physical body, when we're in a high vibration, high vibe TV, well stated and great name, we get more of that. When we're awfulizing and catastrophizing and moving about and just thinking about all the things that can go wrong, the universe is unbiased, but it's going to bring you that which you're being vibrationally. And I learned to train my brain and my body and my beingness because I don't like the awfulizing and catastrophizing results. To the moment that I notice that about myself, to take a deep breath and give gratitude for the awareness. I may not love what's happening. I'm not saying I'm going into agreement and giving gratitude for the circumstance. However, I'm giving gratitude for my self awareness that I recognize I'm out of alignment with my intention. And that brings my point of attraction to gratitude. And my next experience, the next one step, that's my point of attraction. So I invite that as the first aha moment of living your most inspiring life, as self awareness can lead one into the ability to shift and change directions very quickly of what your next experience will be energetically. That's the first step of living in alignment with your most inspiring life is awareness. My awareness and alignment path. That's an acronym for the map. Knowing where you are, knowing where you want to be, what you want to do. Maybe just the next one step.
right. Is that Utopia behind you? Is that
So
Uetopia?
you,
Is that? literal utopia, or is that a business you formed, or is that just a universe of your own making that you is your playground?
All of the above.
Okay.
All of the above. So, great question. And I think this translates to each one of us. So, as I speak to what I'm speaking about as part of my journey, I invite the listener to play along with us about what is your utopia? What is your universe? What is your playground? What is your business? It's all of these things. Uh, Utopia formulated for me in the way that I can see it now in 2014 when I had 9-year-old triplets at the time. I knew that I was to write children's books. I had no idea what the landscape would be, for where it would be. I just knew that these lessons that I was remembering and learning with my children were important to share in fun, playful ways. So I was sitting at the table one afternoon in August of 2014, and I said to myself, where would these stories take place? And I didn't have one of my now sharp playmates close at hand, but I had a pencil. And my hand wrote, Utopia is a place where puffy heart clouds float through the sky and the scent of honey fills the air. The heart-shaped trees and flowers dance to the rhythm of freedom. The only thing missing is you. Come as you're ready. Whoa. My pencil dropped, my heart opened wide, and I said, what was that? And where did that come from? I now know that that was automatic writing. I know it was my higher self sharing with me elements of things I already knew and now was remembering. The
Hmm.
journey back to Utopia. Utopia, spelled Ewetopia, is a codex word that celebrates the unity,
Hmm.
E and WE. Ewe is the divine feminine sheep, EWE. The ram, R, am, being your am presence, is the masculine. So you've got unity with the word EWE, you and we as one. Unity. I love it. Let's step out of fear and sheeperation into love and unity by each being our piece of the puzzle.
Hmm.
Bees create community, and each is a worker having its component and part to do, cross-pollinating many different elements in our environment to curate the sweet golden elixir, honey, our sweet life, right? So the words, the puns, the playfulness all started coming into sight. And while it is very fun and playful, it's also my guide. It's also my coding. And sharing that with others about that which brings you peace, PEACE, is your PIECE of the buzzle. That's a play on the word puzzle, the bigger picture. But the buzz, the warm, buzzy sensation that we get to feel when we're in alignment with being the love that we are, that's the sweet life. Let's be and do that, y'all. We can take the one whole parts that each of us has that we're coded with by our creator to put them together to create the SUM thing more than we ever knew could be alone. Alone really sounds like all one to me and my funny heart brain, but individualized, we each have value. So many of us have these codes inside of us, and we have the desire to create it. But there's something inside that is a fear based belief that must be resolved in order for one to take inspired action consistently over time through the obstacles that I've come to know are just there as our friends. They're there for us to see how creative we are, how resilient we are, and that we're better together. If you can do everything by yourself, what's the point of us all being here? What's your part? What do you love to be? My light is already lit. I'm on fire, living in alignment with the love of my life, my heart. This is a matchstick. I use it poetically to strike a match for somebody that is not yet living in alignment with their true inspiration. It's still dwelling inside of them. And when they see another human living in alignment with their true nature. It's inspiring. I mean, think about all the different creators that you witness regularly in our daily lives that are living such beautiful lives that they've created for themselves by trusting in themselves and being committed to it. I want more and more humans to do that because I know what we can create together, you know? So,
When I first met you, I thought of you as you're like a life coach in form of a fun factory. You're out there just having a good time, letting loose, but yet everything that comes out of your mouth is inspirational, it's motivational, and it's therapeutic. Have you ever been a life coach, like as a profession, or is it just a part of your very being, and then you just integrate it? It seems like more like you just integrate it into everything you do. It's just a natural aspect of who you are. Is that something you were
thank you.
born with, or did you actually develop this over your life course?
Which part are you asking me? Was I born with this? And
The
what
ability
part of it?
to be inspirational and just this wordplay and all these ways you have of conveying yourself and conveying profound wisdom without like being preachy or being dry. It's like somehow you've integrated a lot of things, and maybe, like all of us, we have aspects of who we are, and then that's the whole art of it is bringing it all together in a cohesive whole, which makes us an individual, but yet also a part of that puzzle that you are talking about, which seems to be the hardest balancing act in the universe, right? Maintaining your sense of individuality while not being egotistical and not separating yourself from the pack, so to speak, the hive. It's like finding your place in that hive. What's your role without losing who you are as an individual?
Mm,
So many people get lost on one side of that or the other, but yeah, you've kind of walked the walk and made it to where you can take that matchstick with authority, light it, and inspire other people to ignite their passions and their inner utopia and get on with the show.
gosh, everything you just said there is so rich. And, going back to your original question, is that, yeah, the answer is yes, I was born with it. We all are. All of our codes are there in the beginning and right from the start. And our roles to play in humanity, they're ours. Along the way, however, I think we can get a little sidetracked and we can get a little disenchanted as life feels challenging, as there's so much competition to have us become uniform. Listen to what I just said. There's so much competition to have us become uniform. Individualization is so critically important for humanity. We have different abilities by design and on purpose. And as we each get more confident and comfortable in alignment with us being true to ourselves, that's where we're the biggest winners for ourselves and others. So I would say that for me, it's been a continual process of progress, of becoming more clear of who I am. I do not let another person tell me who I am. I know who I am. And that is a really beautiful way to live life. It is. When you know who you are, no one else can take advantage of you in ways that people may tend to because and I don't want to make this a negative situation, but in life, many times people want to even good intentions. They want to tell you what you should be or how you should be in the world. The greatest thing we can each do is having the courage to know exactly the next one step that feels right to us and take it. Because the reality I've come to see is that this quest is forever. It's forever and ever and ever. Having been born into a traditional Methodist home, I didn't know reincarnation. I didn't know the more of beyond this lifetime. We never die. Our energy changes form and we take on new roles. However, I also know it's compounding, and the skills that I'm learning in this lifetime can be carried over into others if I say so, if I'm willing to remember those parts of me And what is true for one is true for another. I'm not special or unique in that. I've just gone into agreement with that, knowing this. And I understand that beliefs are different. I'm not trying to convince others of my beliefs. However, when you have experiences that become something that bring in wisdom in a knowing system is much stronger than a belief system,
Mm-hmm.
right? Our beliefs are something we've gone into agreement with because someone we loved and trusted, it should be that. Make sure if you're going into agreement with something that you're embracing as a belief system, that it's at least someone that you love, honor, and trust. So when someone shares with me their opinions, I listen with respect, but I don't go into agreement with anything in the first moments that I'm hearing anything at
Mm-hmm.
all. That's a reprogramming of my brain. And I allow the universe to prove to me over time, even though the universe is not obligated to prove itself. Truth has a way of coming to the surface, and it will come up and it will be shown to me when I'm ready to match wherever its real truth is. And by where it is I'm talking about interdimensionality. This is another very complex concept that I really didn't have any awareness of, or no one ever taught me about it. I just started experiencing that. Why do people see things differently? Why do we go into agreement that we're seeing things so differently? And I even mean like I'm sitting and talking to a person strangely that another person doesn't see. That happens to me. Why does that happen? I'm not crazy. There are things that are misunderstood in our physical experience right now because people are in different states of consciousness. And unless one really starts to get curious with self about what that is, as I did, and understand and understand, that we can all be right from our own perspective. Us learning to respect one another is so important because, and being gentle with ourselves and others in these times of evolution, because things are appearing differently for us from which perspective we're looking at. And what kind of crazy talk am I talking about? I hear all the time New Earth and fifth dimension. And in my experience, as I was hearing that before I started experiencing it, I thought I was going to go somewhere else. I thought I was going to some other place. The reality is that you stay right where you are. You're just in a different consciousness. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's when you're in love and gratitude vibration, because everything is vibrational, you really will experience the same environment, same experience that's going on with a totally different experience. It happens. It seems very strange. In this conversation, I wasn't really intending to get onto that, but I'm just following my heart with the heart flow. I call this a heart versation. And whatever's supposed to come forward and through me, I enable to come forward and through me. And I recognize that I might sound a little funny. Well, in order to be your true nature, you got to be willing to get a little funny, fun energy, right? I do it with a way that's non-threatening. And you ask me if I'm a life coach. Yeah, right here. This is coaching. Do I sit and invest an hour with a person and share with them what my hourly rate is in order to share some wisdoms that I've remembered or some absolutely incredible practices that enrich one's life? Not necessarily. However, through what I shared, you shared and reflected, I've done seasons of TV shows for 3 seasons on 2 different networks. So there's content and there's information out there that is sharing incredible wisdom. You betcha. I'm an international speaker. I travel and I speak on stages. That's sharing wisdom and insights. For me, this is coaching and sharing. I think of myself more as just everybody's playmate. I really, I'm here to expand joy by being in alignment with mine, because play is joy in action. And I know that fear and joy can't dwell in the same moment. They just can't. It doesn't work. You're either feeling the fear and afraid, or you're finding a way to pull yourself up. And in my case, I mean, because I like playful nature, of course, I created and joy sock puppets to sock into fear. And I always have it close at hand. She sure does. I am always close at hand when fear is afoot. It's totally awesome. It is. How do we each bring ourselves out of fear in the moment that we feel it? I've just created a lot of clever, playful things that do that. And started telling a little story to myself and others in the coaching, or what I call workshops. They're just play shops. We come together and we learn about the joy of living in alignment with your true nature, and let's stick together, right? So I tell a little story about our journey of evolution into the highest parts of ourself. And it's done with, um, I'm blanking, but I'm talking about a chicken, a bee, no, a chicken, a frog, a trog, a bee, and a wand.
A
Because
trog?
this, yeah, thanks for asking. I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
In the beginning of anything, when we are being challenged to be our greatness, it's very possible we might feel a little chicken. It just happens. We get there. And you can stay there. You can stay feeling chicken forever, but it's really not going to support your evolution and moving into the next step. So you've got to be pecking on the ground and finding all the little golden nuggets. And I keep little golden nuggets around me all the time. Right here's some little gold glitter. That could work as nuggets to start seeing your brilliance and start to sparkle and feel a little bit more faith reigning over the gloom. That would be when you're moving into the frog. It's an acronym. The faith reigns over gloom. You start to think about all your talents, your gifts, and you have what it takes to do that. So you're sitting on your home base lily pad faithfully, but what's going to happen? Nothing until you have trust in yourself to take that leap of faith, because that's what the trog is. Thanks for asking. Trog is trust reigns over gloom. Now you're the frog leaping in action. You're moving out. You're being in alignment. Now that's the bee, being your true nature. Buzz, buzz, being your gifts, being your innate gifts and abilities. To remember and recall how magical you are. Magical. We are all magical beings when we are being in our true nature. And Wanda, my magical side stick, oh, she's a micro Wanda right now. Kate went through a really big adjustment last year, and she kind of had to come apart to be re-put together. And I'm her magical side stick. And so right now, I'm still not fully back together. It's true. We can come apart in order to be put back together in new ways. And my life did transition. I was in an 11-year partnership where I learned that there was betrayal and deceit. It was devastating to me. I had trusted a man for 11 years in my partnership and was moving into, great things into the future, when all of a sudden I realized it was really out of integrity and there was a lot of things that had to come apart. And I stepped out of that relationship and I just sort of regrouped and I took on a new career that's so exciting. And I'm so grateful that I did at that time, because I joined Botany Scientifics after a 27-year career with a Fortune 100 company. And the timing of that was absolutely by impeccable divine design, because ability to balance one's emotions when coming through massive upheaval and the kind of betrayal that I went through was unbelievable. And many of us as humans face that. And we have to deal with the fear of the unknowns. I like to call them the great not yet knowns, because it makes me know that they're still going to be great as
Hmm.
we move through them. But we claim it. We claim the great not yet knowns. And I'm flowing in my boat, merrily, merrily, merrily in my dream. And I just got kicked out. And now I'm like, whoa, I got to swim back to shore, to the land of intent, and reset, regroup. Well, a company, Botany Scientifics, that I have been friends with the founders and the creators of since 2011, have an amazing product that is full spectrum hemp oil. And I started to learn about cannabinoids and our endocannabinoid system. That was not by accident that I was learning about this at the same time that my emotions were being probably the most challenged they had been since I had been birthing triplets 20 years before, right? I mean, because that's an emotional roller coaster too. Life brings us a lot of twists and turns and things that we have to navigate. And doing that with clear heart and mind helps us optimize and realize the greatest outcomes. If we're not able to balance our emotions, we run greater risk of being hookable, being triggered, being able to be taken down a path that is not in alignment with our desires, intentions, and best outcomes. So I started learning about the endocannabinoid system. And what is that? I asked. Oh, why don't we know about this, Mike? I don't know why we don't all know about this because it's such an important part of our being. It is what regulates our sleep, our appetite, our ability to process our emotions, inflammation, and processing trauma, physical or emotional. So when you think about where most disease comes from in our world, it's tied to one of those, for sure. So it's so important to get to know about the endocannabinoid system. And now I've, my whole life made a big change. The kids graduated, high school and started moving in and out of the house into the next parts of themselves, giving me more time and freedom. Coming outside of that partnership that I had been in would have blocked me from this career. So everything's working for us now and always. And I'm much more magically aligned now to not be in that partnership. But when you're in something, you sometimes can't always see it. There's things that are always working for us, despite the fact that it may feel horrible in the moments. And this can be anything. Every single one of us as a human has been experiencing hardship at some point in their life. That's when it's time to get hearter. I wear this fun little felt heart because heartfelt moments are so valuable. And knowing the power of your heart and leading with your heart. I wear hearts everywhere by design to remind me and reheart me. I even branded myself as Kate the heart-ist. The art inside of my heart is what is helping to help me navigate this life path. And now I'm just inviting others to join me. Get in your boat and row, row, row merrily with me, on this. And the day that we see life and laughter as the flowers, this is Daisy. She's so fun. She's one of my little characters that is in Utopia. You ask me, what is it? It's everything. She's my playmate, Mike. I mean, isn't she cute? She just was in my imagination. And then I wanted to have her out here so everybody could see her with me because I was referencing Daisy, the day you see life
He's
through your love
adorable.
lenses. It's fun. Life, love lenses right here. Put them on. See life this way. And they're crowning moments. I mean, this is so fun. I have props for everything. Crowning moments. I have a crown at hand. I'm willing to look a little silly in order to celebrate the love that we are and have crowning moments of us realizing the Christ consciousness, our I am presence. I've said a whole lot.
Actually, I think it's pretty styling.
I'm digging it. I mean, I think we should all walk around with our crowns, because we are all regal. We are all royalty. We are all amazing, amazing geniuses that have been, oh, I don't know. I think that a lot of good intentions, to help one see their brilliance begins, but somewhere along the way, people become a little bit more afraid of, no, they might get better than me. I don't know that I really want to support them and help that. Uh, we're never going
That
to
is
run
a
it.
common problem, isn't it? Jealousy and the ability to suppress yourself because you don't want to make others feel inferior in any way. When we should be realizing that we're all geniuses and we're all retarded in some ways, and our job is to be the teacher and be the student simultaneously because we all have something profound to share and we always have something more to learn. And as soon as we find that balance in the whole thing, that's when we actually find our own utopia. Of
There you go.
course, easier said than done. Life demands that we
No,
work for everything.
and the more of us that get into awareness of what you were just sharing, that we're all students and teachers, right? I don't know more than you. I know different things than you. And I may have learned something that there's more to learn about. And if we stay open hearted, we can really grow as a humanity faster. My dear friend Ashley Lee, that you and I enjoyed together out in California when we visited, she and I have created a word mentoree because you're the mentee and you're the mentor. You're constantly both, and you're constantly passing the baton to one another in a good, healthy, nurturing, nourishing, evolutionary relationship. Because if you think you already know everything, hmm, what's more to do? This whole playground that we're on, that we call Earth, is a place where we learn, grow, and remember. If you already know everything, why are you staying? Like, this is the game of playing and creating. We are powerful creators. I truly believe that every challenge we've created as a humanity, we are the solutions. And, so in that description, I have myself as a cosmic connector. I am. I'm here on this planet to understand what people are passionate about, what they're committed to creating, and who goes together. What parts of the puzzle go together? I am constantly putting people together to make massive things happen, working together to get regenerative soil, clean air, clean water, and clear power aligned. Because there's super geniuses on the planet right now that have created solutions for the challenges we've created. And I know that we can do this. I'm sitting here on the sideline going, whoa, we got this, humanity. We got it. And that is my intention. The land of intent. I am sitting there inside of that tent very clearly, taking inspired actions daily and living in alignment with my true nature, asking others to be theirs. We could keep going on that cycle. But this would be my message, and this is what I'm coaching. You be you. I'm being me. Sometimes this is the other thing. I hear this way too often. People get intimidated by other people's genius. Why do we do that? Why do we get intimidated when we see someone stepping into their power versus celebrating them and saying, go, go, go? That's so amazing what you're being and doing. I see people go, oh, I don't know how to do that, and then feel less than.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stop that, y'all. Let's not feel less than. Going to inspiration, feeling inspired by one's greatness, to inspire one to say, that person is living so inspired. What does my life look like that? What are my things that I love to be and do? Being a poet and a writer, some people say I could never make a living doing that. There's so many careers and opportunities that need clever writers, that need conscious, clever writers. Stories that help us think bigger than we could ever think before and inspire us. They're there. When I started watching Harry Potter, I was like, oh my gosh, this chick is fully awakened. Like, she gets it. Because J.K. Rowling, some may think, has a very clever imagination. I agree. What I'm more impressed with is her ability to organize the content and the information.
Mm-hmm.
Because the task that she had to bring forward that storyline that shows humanity's brilliance and who we really are, in playful, fun ways. Because,
Over 9 books.
right,
That's
right,
amazing feat.
yeah. Some people might think I'm really nuts, but I'm okay with being nuts. I'm really clear about what I'm clear about. And for me, Harry Potter are nothing more than documentaries of humanity. And so is Star Wars. I was a kid when Star Wars came out. And I remember going to the movie theater in 1977 as a young kid and watching that. And just, it didn't seem weird to me. And why that happened, I'm not sure. But there's parts of me that just embraced and accepted that movie as just part of another part of life somewhere. And it wasn't science fiction. I didn't even know what science fiction was in those years of being so young. I just was watching another part of life happening somewhere else that seemed okay and familiar to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I don't need to know what all of that is either. I certainly embrace the more without needing to know all the more. When people debate whether or not there are other galaxies and star systems and such, I find it fascinating to think that there wouldn't be. Why are we, like, to debate it in a fun, lighthearted way is really interesting to me. To state or have a debate that it doesn't exist is not even interesting to me. Of course it exists. Of course there's
How could it
multiverses out
not?
there. How could it not? Exactly. However, I don't get caught up in all of the energy of what's not happening in the time space where I am, although I do embrace and accept that it's all interconnected. So I do think that what we be and do here, each now moment, matters. I think every choice is a choice, and I think time is very funny. This is why I've resolved that everything is now. In Utopia, what time is it? It's now.
Now
What
o'clock.
time is it? It's now o'clock. It's always now. And these are the moments of creation. It's in this now moment that where I'm sitting in time space. Today I'm in Houston, Texas, where I dwell most of the time. Well, I say most of the time. I'm actually hardly here at all anymore since coming into alignment as business development for Botany Scientifics as their director of sales. I'm traveling a lot right now, creating and casting awareness for that company. But in this moment now, I'm sitting in a place that we've all gone into agreement. It's called Houston, Texas. In a time that we're agreeing upon is a certain hour of the day. However, you and I are sitting in two spaces that have different times on a clock. What is that? We've already agreed that time's not really real because it's different in different places. But somehow it helps us organize things to be able to show up in now moments while we're humans living on this earth. A clock still is relevant right now.
Hmm.
Will it be in my entire lifetime? I don't know. We're evolving so rapidly and so quickly. I don't know that it will. That, when we're able to truly just connect at the telepathic level that I trust that we can, I don't know that time will be nearly as important and valuable as we're making it right in these now moments. I'm just willing to keep going and growing and committed to making life continually, perpetually fun and funner. I use the word funner. Yeah, I can because I'm creative. You can too. I know
I
it's
use
not
that one
grammatically
too.
correct. Yeah, it's not grammatically correct, but I'm not really interested when I'm trying to be really fun and have fun about my grammar.
Well, that's
It's
one of the things that gets me too is people's staunchness of it's not in the dictionary, it's not a word. It's like that's not what language is all about. It's that alone is a system of co-creation. We create new words as they're needed. And
yes,
funner is a word that has a purpose.
it
And
does.
and it doesn't sound clunky like intelligenter or something, which
That'll be
could be a
fine.
word
Like
too,
it.
right? If you're feeling a little silly,
Bam.
that sounds intelligenter than I remembered. Might sound a little clunky, but
Oh, you know what though? You know who's one of the greatest creators that way that showed us that anything is possible is Theodore Geisel, right? Dr. Seuss.
that was one of our connecting points.
It was
Of
when we
all
were
things,
together at Santosh Ranch. So Ted, he used to make up words because he needed
Dr.
something fun.
Seuss, for those not in the know.
Oh yeah, thank you for that, Dr. I loved Dr. Seuss as a kid. His words and his studies and his lessons were so profound, and yet done in such a playful, lighthearted way. In Sam I Am, we're taught about the power of being open to change and thinking about the things we say we don't like. We don't even know if we like them. How do you know if you don't like something if you've not experienced it? And Ertl the turtle, learning about business hierarchy and how to grow and build things not on the backs of one another but building one another up, the importance of these important lessons. But going back to what Ted shared, you can create anything. No one knew what a sneetch was until he taught us because he needed something to rhyme, right? And we can do this all the time. We can create that which we are desiring and needing. My very funny friend Joe Delaney just was sharing something earlier today about you'll only get what you need until what you want is what you need. Hmm. There's a
Hmm.
funny alignment there.
It's a little
We
brain
do
twister there. You'll
a
only get.
little brain twister. Yeah, that's a brilliant scientist in the UK that I've been in alignment with that works with chromatooptogenetics. What is
Nice.
that? Optogenetics is light, color, and frequency coming together to activate and elevate your DNA and your cells. So this is why scientists and artists now coming together will be working together more. Frequency of sound baths, again, my community is ever expanding as I become more intentional. There's a human that's so magical named Keith Hill, and he makes a soul journey with sound. People call them sound baths. However, his background as a musician and every step of our journey matters. Every step that we take as a creator of your life matters. And so sometimes we may be dwelling in an activity that doesn't feel relevant or we can't see the bigger picture. But it's so important because it will play a part in the bigger picture for awareness, for insights, for network, for people that you meet. For whatever reason, we're always right where we're supposed to be. And chromatooptogenetics, as I've now experienced sound, like I did with Keith, incorporating many instruments, himself being one of them, being able to create tones, it opens up other parts of me and others when I've been in a room to experience that. Frequency is so important that we understand that. And that is another part of living in alignment with your true nature and your most inspiring life. Intention, inspired action, aligning, exposing yourself to other creative conscious beings starts to create community. And you're coming together through what you're valuing, what you're sharing. There's brilliant, brilliant communities formulating right now that I am becoming so aware of that are building out massive community that are bringing forward really tremendous parts of the living experience. I I'm super excited about where we are right now, where I hear people saying the world is falling apart. And I'm saying, thank God, because it was a system meant for enslavement. So I'm really grateful and I want the least collateral damage to happen. But I'm so grateful that the systems that have been in place, that have been enslavement models, are coming apart to allow us to step out and take responsibility for our best living. We have each got a part to contribute. It's not about taking handouts, hands up with one another, absolutely. But, again, I keep mentioning this company, Botany Scientifics. It's a company that's truly committed to creating resources and products and tools for people that have not yet been able to balance their emotions. Doesn't want to be a crutch and have you stay on it forever. It's just there in the gap. And when you get your cannabinoids into your body, the receptors know what to do with it. And you can stay balanced and you can work towards your vision and your intention and stay well rested. Have a healthy appetite so it keeps your body balanced. And, we as a humanity, unfortunately, have realized massive obesity. People are choosing to use an easy button and some shots that can help you regulate your appetite. However, in my research,
Zempic, is it? Is that what it's called?
I really don't want to go into the names of what they
Uh,
are, but there are some.
it's basically snake venom.
Well, there's some challenges.
Toxicity.
There's toxicity, and
Yeah,
sadly, it goes in and it works to destroy your endocannabinoid system because
it
it's
does.
blocking your appetite and you have to stay on it forever. And what it's not considering and factoring in is that the same receptor that is for regulating your appetite regulates your emotions. So you might be skinny, but you will not have the ability over time, the longer you're on that, to balance your emotions and keep regulated. So we'll have very unhealthy, skinny beings that are in depression. And guys, we can do this naturally. There are natural ways. The systems are here. We are powerful creators. And I'm excited about that. All that being said, look what I just said. I joined a company that is plant-based that brings forward these products, but it's done with the intention to not make you dependent upon them. Getting your body into alignment, setting the intention to be able to find your own balance through your breath, through your exercise, through your innate wisdom that will come to you. The hemp plant has an ability to work with us. We have the receptors for it. And when setting an intention, I'm not talking about doing psychotropic activity here either. There's a lot of misnomers about the wellness qualities of the plant. And as people start to educate themselves, they'll start to see that this plant should remain available for all ages to be able to be enjoyed through its nutraceutical therapeutic characteristics. And I'm excited to be a part of that as I move forward into the next stages of my life. I feel like I'm just getting started, Mike. I'm 54, and yet I feel like I'm only starting, and I don't even commit to a year chronologically anymore, because when I start thinking about how long I plan to live, it's ridiculous in linear years, ridiculous in traditional conversations. But there's a lot for us to create here, and our wellness is our choice. So I'm I'm just really excited about each person that steps in to say, I am willing to claim my abundance by being my contribution. Because I know that that is this inside of Utopia. I've created a whole mindset of being willionaires. We are not limited to anything, any amount of abundance, because I don't
Millionaires. I like that one.
it's your willingness to claim your abundance. And your abundance comes to you through community, with us each being our parts in so many ways. Our society has been so controlled by money. Money is one tool. However, many people start to get entrapped into the idea that money is abundance, and that if you don't have money, that you're broke. No, your worth is in your willingness to show up as your innate gifts and abilities and build community with other beings doing this. And together we have everything that we need. We're so resourceful, we're so creative. And what are we willing to be? That's your be it coin. The co-inking and creating of our abundance is done in harmony, back to that whole utopic world. So you can see, when you ask me, is that your business? Is that your fun? Is that your playground? It's everything. And what is each one of our utopic world? What does that look like? How will we show up for ourselves and one another moving forward? This is important. We are here on purpose, on purpose. We each have a purpose to be the love that we are, and overcoming our fear in order to be it. So I dedicate my daily living experiences wherever I am to be that. And it's terrific. I am living my most inspiring life. And does it always feel awesome? No, no, because I have expectations. I have to detach sometimes. Well, all times. We should detach from outcome and detach from expectations. That's the only reason we have disappointment. It is. Now, that being said, when you have intentions, there is an expectation. So this is this funny game we play with ourselves. But what I'm really more wanting to say is detaching to the how. Show up one step at a time, over time. And the how is inside of the word show. It will show up too, as we show up for ourselves with that which we're wanting to be, as the love that we are. This is, we could go so long on this journey of the heart, Mike, of how we're creating, how we're building, how we're living in alignment with the love that we are. And as we each do, that's the key to unlocking the whole. WHOLE. We're already whole. That's the key to living your most inspiring life, is knowing that truth, knowing that you're already whole, and then finding other beings that are living in alignment and awareness with that truth. But you don't need another person to make you whole. You're already whole.
Mm.
But we do enjoy life together.
And anybody looking at the world as if it's doomed and it's all going to hell, they're looking at the wrong team, aren't they? They haven't met some of the people we've met and are following, who are literally working miracles. It's like
Yeah.
they're literally reinventing reality for the benefit of all. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like, how could
I,
you not be paying attention to this? That's I keep thinking. But
there's a lot of distraction and noise. And
There's
if
a lot
you
of distraction and noise, and the more the other team, our team is winning, the more noise and distractions they're throwing out. And boy, they're going overboard these days, aren't they? That's a
again,
good sign.
it is, and where I am in my journey is just we're all aspects of the same. So, I really don't go into this is me. I'm not inciting or looking to create more conflict or more obstacles and more challenge. And I know that righteous anger and us and them in anything creates more conflict. And so when I am observing things that feel out of alignment, I recognize that it is other aspects of myself that are out of alignment with the love that they are. And I invite that. I invite whatever I'm looking at that feels out of alignment with love vibration, anything that would want to do harm to another being. I invite that being from my higher self. I invite that being's higher self. Sometimes it's you don't want to confront really big energy and really big power, but you can invite it from any position in any now moment to realign with the love that it is, and it will not be able to harm another in the state of being the love that it is. Everything is about fear that is not in the vibration of love. So, fear of not having enough resources so that everybody can live. How could that possibly be even remotely true with as much intelligence as we have? And you even came up with a new word, intelligenter. We're more intelligenter than we thought. So we can create from any jumping in point, any challenge. We have the intelligence. And that is, again, I really feel like this is a big game. Planet Earth is a big playground. And we're here to enjoy the beautiful process of creation. What are we creating? Is my question. And is it from a place rooted in love, or is it a place rooted in fear? Every time you notice that it's rooted in fear, it's an invitation to come back to the love that you are, and I am, and we are, to come back to create this utopic realm where new rules of love reigning is the jumping in point. Too often we go to the fear based mindset of the thought of failure versus the possibility, the potential, the knowing that we can be successful, merrily, merrily, merrily rowing in our dream together. Let's stream that conscious thought and see what happens. So, everything that I be, do, and am is to celebrate that possibility. And I just use my art, my community, my business, everything as outlets for that communication. And I so appreciate the opportunity to have come in here with you today and share it with your audience and our audience. I mean, it's all one and the same. It's humanity.
That's so true. And maybe a few dogs in the room.
I'm all about the dogs too. I mean, I've got a few of them now. They don't work in my lifestyle because of so much travel, but the animal kingdom is a very big part of the beings, so, and we're all interdependent and we bring so much value to one another. So I actually even include them when I say
So,
humanity, it's in that.
so talk just a little bit about botany scientifics and what kind of products they have that you find helpful.
Oh, thanks so much for that invitation. I really find this company to be a remarkable company. They have 8 products, a ninth one on the way called Grounded. It'll be out shortly. The products are all, as I stated, topical and ingestible to support the endocannabinoid system being optimized. So you need cannabinoids. Your body makes them, but you don't get enough of them. And then those areas get out of balance. Sleep, appetite, emotions, inflammation, and the ability to process trauma, physical or emotional. So, how would you like to get cannabinoids? Is the question. We have a tincture and capsules that are daily. And of course, I'd have these as props too. I have so many art things. Of course, I have these. These are right at hand always for me. This is something that I started taking daily. And within 6 weeks, 2.5 weeks, my tribe that knows me well started noticing big things and shifts inside of my emotional behavior, not being triggered, being much more clear minded and well rested. Within 2.5 weeks of just taking 25 milligrams on the capsule. Within 6 weeks, I got something I never imagined. Pain free. I had had chronic knee pain and shoulder and neck. You can imagine as an artist constantly doing this motion up and down all the time. I had a lot of stress here and at a computer like this. It's gone.
Mhm.
And living pain free, what do you do when you are not in pain? You're able to be more free to, when you feel good, you can do better things. So I saw this, and one of my entry points to this company was I'm here on this planet at this time to help emancipate humanity's brilliance by me first emancipating my own and then being an inspiration or a celebration of others that I'm meeting along the way doing that. I saw this company as a bridge. I saw it as having products that help balance things that I had already come to know that were out of alignment. People are not resting well. The stress levels in their corporate jobs are crazy. Or their stress of their family, their finances, they're worrying about their kids, so many other things that people create stress in their life that cause them not to be able to rest well at night. Appetite. We really are improving the quality of our food every day in certain communities by taking inspired action to regenerate soil to get food healthy again. However, right now, food has been greatly depleted and we are still not out of the weeds with that. And so, appetite regulation through getting good nutrition and then being able to follow your innate guidance to get healthier, the ability to process trauma. As I told you, I mean, albeit that it felt traumatic to me, some would not think it's totally trauma, but it is when your life comes apart and you're putting it back together. I had the ability to stay clear-hearted and clear-minded while going through that transition, and that really was so helpful. I'm so grateful. And I said over and over, without those, I don't feel as though I would be in such a place of favor. Like my life is really great. I'm grateful for that betrayal and deception because it was my launching pad into my next greatest version of myself. However, some people awfulize and catastrophize and stay back in the trauma. Nope, I'm moving through the trauma and dealing with it as a blessing. And that definitely cannabinoids being fully loaded, good things there.
Well, I
Skin.
personally saw you in action at, in Nevada on that famous rafting trip
Oh yeah,
where Kate and some other friends were out there and they tipped the canoe and you messed up your foot pretty good, didn't you?
I
And
did.
it's like all swollen and you were in pain um and I saw Kate, I can testify that she not only immediately put some of this ointment on her foot and it like within 2 days you were walking again, but also your demeanor, your attitude about, this is life just is a bumpy road and just the way you navigated the obvious unpleasantries of the situation. Because let's face it, those things happen. We all have them. We're all put to the test. And you just kind of breeze through that. Like, and within 2 days, you're like walking again like normal. I was surprised how quickly that all just like
Thank you for that.
healed.
That's true. And that was a great living example. And it's true.
Yeah,
That was salve and lotion and the roll-on that I used to deal with my acute pain. Because as we were just describing, the products that I just shared with you that have the tincture or the capsule, they're for the root. They're getting you all balanced in all of that. We can get to a place where we need some support for acute pain and suffering or sleep. Then we have sleep gummies. Like you were describing the salve and the lotion, I put those on my feet immediately. The candelilla wax created a nice barrier to keep infection out because we were out in the open air of Nevada with a lot of dust and dirt and different things. That was really supportive to me. Then the other thing too, so it's all those products. And let's also talk about the community we were with, right? I would be a bit remiss if we did not talk about the power of energy healing because
for sure.
Christy was there. Laura was there. They supported in ways that were so body beneficial and celebrating one another's innate gifts and abilities. When we have that resource of someone that is an energy healer, saying yes when they make an offering of, would you like me to work on your feet, is a big yes. So combining natural plant remedies with the energy, power, healing that we are, and my consciousness and willingness to not stay stuck in the trauma, those are all elements of the equation that add up to the sum thing,
Exactly.
successful, the SUM thing, and our attitude and our mindset. You know, as I was walking back to where we had put in to go back, I sat there in so much pain as I was walking. The physical pain was tremendous. I had really cut my feet up badly on the bottom of the rocks because, silly, I had worn sandals. I will never wear shoes that are not attached to my feet again when going in a river. And yet there was no upset. There was no make wrong. It was just moving forward and focusing and taking the lessons. I was already learning in those moments about how to make something better the next time I did something. It wasn't that I was like, I'm never canoeing again. That was horrible. No, I learned that when you put three, I mean, Brett, Brad, and myself, we're all really tall, big individuals. And I was in the middle. Hey, I got a really good core workout for the first 15, 20 minutes. I was like, whoa, balancing, and I was having to hold it. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be the greatest workout I've had in months. But ultimately, we got stuck on some rocks, and our ability to balance that as we were all really big people, it just came too much. But I learned that now, and I won't balance a canoe the same way. I won't get in a canoe being in the middle. That is that way. So life's lessons, it's a path of progress, right? We can take insights that we learn in each of our experiences and move forward to make them better in the next time we experience them in a new way. And don't dwell on the things that didn't go right, because if we do, they will expand. So I was disappointed that I did not get to enjoy going down the river with friends. However, I walked back, sat down in the grass. It was a beautiful sunny day. I was in incredible Nevada, where the mountain range around me was awe-inspiring. And I had some of the best quiet time I'd had of reflection. That's powerful. So, not getting attached to missing the experience of what I thought I was going to have. I was in the now moment and I said, this is what it is. I was going to start letting the healing happen right away, you know, just through my consciousness of letting go of what I had just experienced. In the moments I was experiencing, actually, I can go back to that moment really quick. I can tell you, it was quite frightening. I didn't know what was going to happen because the water was moving really fast. We lost the canoe and we couldn't get it back. I lost both shoes, and everybody is trying to figure out in real time how we're going to navigate this while being knocked over and thrust and crashed on long rocks. It's it's a lot. It's like, whoa, that's life though. You can be knocked out of your boat, and how are you going to respond? And we were so grateful that some of our friends were upstream. Luke caught the canoe and was able to have Brad walk back up to it. Then Brett and Brad could go get my shoes. It was amazing how that all worked. But if that's so poetic in life, we need each other when
Right?
we face challenges,
Serious
right?
teamwork there.
Serious teamwork and everybody looking out for one another and having one another's back and saying, wow, this is, you know, that was challenging, that was a struggle, but woo, we made it. And then coming back together that evening, everybody sharing their adventures of what they had had while they were on the river or where I was, back on the grass, you know, back on land, having great meditation and recovery time and reflection. So, yeah. So,
It was certainly a memorable experience, and it wasn't just Kate who became an instant friend there. There were so many cool people there. It was like a candy store of humanity, right? It's like all the best of the
every,
best.
every single individual was remarkable. And you know, the common denominator is that everybody was living in alignment with their brilliance. Everybody that was at Brad's birthday party is living their divine intentions, callings, mission passionately on purpose. And that makes for really interesting heartversations, connections, alignments, celebrations of how great life can be. And nobody there would dim another's light in order to shine brighter themselves. Everybody was very secure in their own contributions. And this is my hope for humanity. So that little microcosm that we got to experience there, Mike, was
Right?
really a beautiful container. And, that has a lot to say about our dear friend Brad Olson, magnetizing that group there. He is
Certainly.
in alignment with that. And guys, we're referencing a 11-time author, Brad Olson, as a mutual friend, and his work is really profound. If you're not familiar with Brad's work, please seek and look into it because he talks about life as an adventure, and I call him the adventurologist because he does self-discovery through travel and adventure. And so he's uncovering and unlocking hidden mysteries and esoteric pathways forward into our future from truly knowing our past. But in order to be knowing your past, you have to know some of the parts that have kind of been hidden in plain sight. So
I interviewed him on episode 2 and we talked about the flat earth, but I'm going to have him come back
oh,
about his book on Antarctica when that's finally out in December.
fabulous. Good, good. So yeah, great. He was already on episode 2, and I enjoyed that one. I've watched that as well. It was terrific. So he magnetized himself into attracting people that are living in alignment with their purpose. And this heart conversation would be not as valuable if we just didn't keep saying that enough, that every single person that gets to attract this heart conversation into their field of awareness, what is your contribution? What do you love to be and do? And it it, it may not feel really huge or really important in the moments that you get that answer. But when you get in motion, you'll start to see perhaps that you're holding a very important part of a bigger picture that we can't complete without your part. So, me, I'm somebody that has a really big vision, and I don't ever want that to intimidate someone to think that their plan and their purpose isn't important enough.
Hmm.
Mine is a container on purpose to hold beings that are able to come into alignment with that truth of the importance of their part. Every single part matters. Every single code on this planet that is in someone's heart matters. So let's get started now, or let's keep going. Wherever you are on your path of your greatness, keep it up. KEY-P. That's the key.
Oh, yeah.
Keep it up. Keep going and growing, and keep an open heart and open mind. Keep looking in a lot of different directions. This is my eyeball. I have a ball everywhere I go. And it's important to have your eye on the ball, right? And where are you looking at? And how many different perspectives are you answering a question from? Because it's that key right there that will help elevate you to a place that you love living from. And
Gosh, I would
it's
love to see all the stuff that I can't see on the screen, all that stuff that's hiding behind the scenes.
Oh, Mike, you know what? Isn't that just the truth? But you just brought up a piece of the metaphoric puzzle of all of everything that we need is always right at hand, and it is hiding in plain sight. So you're absolutely bringing up when you just said, I would love to see what's all around you. Everything I need is always right here. That's true for all of us. It's our willingness and our ability to see it, tune into it from an energetic frequency standpoint, listen to it, hear it, feel it, taste it. How do you respond? How does your body respond to your biofeedback? How are you reading your biofeedback? Because everything is happening for us, through us, on purpose in a pronoia universe. Not paranoid, pronoia. Everything is working for us. It's our ability
Nice.
to stay in check and do that and be in alignment with that that is going to call that forward. So I am forever grateful for that awareness and my willingness to step in and own that. And now I share it for people that are willing. I see as I'm kind of sitting here and in my peripheral vision, before Grover and after Grover, BG after G, AG. My belief system changed. Everything that we want and desire enough can come to us in the most unconventional ways. Over my shoulder is Grover, my 5-year-old Christmas present that is my treasured friend from when I was a child.
You mean Sesame Street Grover?
Yes,
Ah,
I mean this Grover, right?
ah.
So so here's in parting, because we're coming to time, I'll just share with you everything you desire can come to you when you release the need to know of how it's going to happen and just hold it in your heart so much. Because as I started building out Utopia, I had the awareness that I was a 6-year-old child in the storylines that was a very magical child. And I wanted to go back as an adult now and capture some of those parts of me and who I was when I was 6. And Grover was my treasured friend. As I just said, I received him as a Christmas present when I was 5. And I said to my mom in November of 2017, Mom, I need Grover. Do you know where he is? We did not know where he was. I was assured, though, that I had brought him to Texas when I was 10 from Pennsylvania. And so I knew he was somewhere in my childhood home. No idea where. And we looked in boxes, couldn't find him. I hadn't seen him in over 4 decades at the time. And I had no idea how Grover was going to come back. I sat and I drew a picture of me being 6 years old on my front steps of my home in Pennsylvania, holding Grover, and I meditated on that picture, asking him to come back to me. And in February of 2018, so in November of 2017, I really started doing this heavily in this practice. In February of 2018, my daughter came into a room and I was blow drying my hair. And she said, Mom, do you know where my choir shirt is? I said, I do. I had washed it and I placed it on the top of the laundry basket at the end of my bed, right before going to bed about 1 o'clock in the morning. No one else was in the house. Nothing had happened. No one else came into the bedroom or anything. And when she went over to grab the t-shirt, she picked up this Grover and she said, Mom, is this yours? She knew I'd been looking for it. And I was shocked. I just was absolutely shocked, Mike. I said, Maddie, where did you get that? And she goes, it was on top of the laundry basket. I go, I I thought at some moment that they were playing a trick on me and that someone went and bought a new Grover. When I went over, I saw that it was the same one that had the matted tummy and the pelted nose and the scratched eyes. That was my Grover from when I was 5 and 6 years old. In some
Wow.
unconventional way, he came back to me. And it came back to me in a way that I knew that it was magical. And I don't need to understand how it happened. I just know that it did. And it changed my belief system. BG, AG. There was a way that I believed that things that could happen and come to me before Grover. And then my belief system after Grover is I know that there's nothing that can't come to us if we desire it enough, and we don't need to know how it happens. So hold in your heart that which you desire and want for yourself and humanity. And hold it so much and close to heart. Draw a picture of it. Whatever feels good to you. That's what felt good to me. Follow your inner guidance on how you're going to create your reality. Because there's nothing that you can't imagine that can't become the new reality. See how I spell that? KNEW, reality?
Hmm.
You knew it first. You know it first on purpose because you, and I'm speaking to the you that knows the you of the thing that is supposed to come into reality. There's nothing that exists in our reality that wasn't first a thought and a belief of someone that took inspired action to make it so, to make it the NEW reality that that person knew first could be. So I am a massive creator, creating constantly, intentionally to make our world a better PLAYCE, intentionally. As more beings begin to do that, what a world we're going to create. It's going to be a GLOWBE, globe. Light this mother up. Let's do it by each being our true nature and being the part we're here to play.
And
All
if
those
you,
words have art.
and if you can manifest Grover to travel 4 decades into the future to find you, wow, that's powerful. Isn't that the coolest form of manifestation ever?
It, and there's so many stories like that in my life. They're magical, and I call it magical, MATCH, because it matches the vibration that we are.
I love your wordplay. You just have it down.
It's me, I'm it,
You
right?
are it.
It's not separate. It's not separate. And I think this is truly a part of this magical thing that we're living in right now. It's like we don't know all that the future is going to hold for us, but I do know that it's going to be wonderful because I say so.
There you
I
go.
say so. And it is going to be wonderful. And as more people say so for themselves, the better we are. When I hear people speaking about the doom and gloom, I invite them to reframe that we're getting better and better, and that we are taking inspired actions to improve circumstances that may feel out of alignment, because we're here to do this at this time. And we have the power within us to create the world that we want to live and that we will love living. That is the art of living the life that you love living. One step at a time, over time, you're the creator. What masterpiece are you creating?
And by
PEAC.
focusing on the doom and
Master your.
gloom, you're giving away your power.
Yeah,
You're giving it to them.
agreed. And I
So
just thumb my
don't do
nose.
that.
I just thumb my nose at them and say, who knows what the future is going to hold? But I'm going to make it fun. It's going to feel like a 13-ring circus at times, but I'm okay with that. I'm going to show up. I'm clowning around, but I'm also living seriously, humorously, because I know that love and laughter are the highest vibration. And so as I laugh and I raise my vibration, the next highest outcome is coming to me, because I'm a vibrational match for the highest outcome. Laughter is the fastest way to raise your vibration. So this is serious business, y'all. I mean, when you look at me and laugh, you're raising your vibration. If you're looking at me going, that's so ridiculous, that's just your opinion, which really is none of my business. And I mean, I respectfully say someone's opinion has no power over me unless I give it. So
Exactly.
where are we giving our power, and who are we giving it to? And are we even sure that it is worthy of doing that? Do you play checkers with people? I do. I check in and I play all the time. Like, who are you? What are you serving? And what is your purpose on the planet? If it doesn't check out to servicing the whole in a higher good, being the love that they are, then their opinion doesn't matter to me at all. Real quick. Someone offers their opinion, it's unsolicited. People do that all the time.
Mhm.
And you can just smile politely. It doesn't have to land and you don't have to take it. It's not yours. Return to sender.
It's when you put on your Wonder Woman bracelets and pew, pew,
Oh, I wear those.
just deflect them.
And bam, I wear those. Labradorite for your psychic intuition. That's with me most of the time. And Liberty, made by a Zuni and a Navajo husband and
Wow.
wife.
Those are some nice bracelets.
They're beautiful. I celebrate the arts and all that I be and do. So Sakina Rose blessed and did this one with her. Shakina Rose is a beautiful singer, a Blu-ray out in Sedona, and she blessed this piece of divine water, sparkly blue, with her beautiful sound frequency. And so I celebrate and wear the elements and the parts of creators and creativity and people that are being in alignment with their gifts as an empowering celebration of that truth. And it's just remarkable. I love it. I'm wearing a kimono by another beautiful artist, this by another artist, everything, this by another artist from Sedona. I embody art in every being,
You're a
in everything that I
biological
do.
museum.
Mm-hmm. A celebration of humanity's creativity.
You so
And it's so fun.
do that.
But
So I
we
guess we're
appreciate,
getting to the end of this interview. Uh,
yes, it is. It
so
is. Thank you for the
wow,
time.
we could really go on forever. But it just we could just expand every little idea into infinity. But
We could.
unfortunately, there we do have the tyranny of the clock at hand as far as the Zoom is concerned.
It's now. And right now, thanks for asking about botany scientifics and what they be and do. And as they work to help people get into balance, Mike, I'm so grateful that you chose Seeing Its Value too to come in as an affiliate. And we'd like to offer your listeners and people that find this now and in the future that they can go to botanyscientifics.com and enter Mike and get 20% off of the
Yes.
product. And that right there, enter Mike.
Does it
And
matter if it's all capitals or
nope, it's not
not
case
case sensitive?
no, it's going
All
to
right.
be Mike, and they'll save 20% off, and they can start getting into alignment with the elements that they either need the acute support for sleep or pain, or your ongoing route, just getting everything into balance. These right here are key for wellness every day. 25 milligrams of full spectrum hemp oil. Botany Scientifics just won Best Full Spectrum Hemp of 2025. We're very proud of that. I can hardly believe that I forgot to say that, because that's a really big thing, but we just became aware of it. And so the magazine comes out this week. That's going to be Cannabis Business Insights. You can read about our ownership Chris Oppenheimer and his journey with his family, Shirley and Cliff, to make this company a reality. I'm so grateful for their efforts. And I love that their company supports other people being able to more comfortably feeling their best and having their emotions in balance step into being their brilliance. That is absolutely why I said yes to going into business development with this company. It's a tool and a bridge to helping us get into navigating that space. Thank you, Mike.
Well, Kate, thank you so much for your time. I can see why you're a world traveling motivational speaker because you do it so well. You really know how to rock the divine feminine, and all power to you. And
Thank you. Much love.
thank you, everybody, for watching the show. Please like and subscribe, and please consider looking at the Botany Scientific link below.
Absolutely.
So,
Your brilliance.
have a great day and an even better tomorrow. Much love.